Good afternoon, Year 6. I hope everyone is having a lovely day. Okay, so this is going to be some video guidance that will help you with your science work. We're continuing what we did last week. I have my results in front of me. We are giving you a set of the results for a scientific investigation that the Year 6 teachers have been doing, and I'm going to plot my graph in here to show the results. Now, I'm going to start with my y-axis. Just have a look. There is my margin. Okay, I'm not going to draw my margin or my y-axis right next to the margin. I'm going to leave at least the width of a ruler. Now, if I have a look at my data, I can see that the highest figure on the data is 130. So I'm going to make my y-axis go just above that. I'm going to take mine to 140. Now, I've decided that each centimetre on my ruler will be 10 beats per minute because that is our dependent variable. The dependent variable should go on the y-axis. So, now whilst my ruler's here, I'm going to mark on each centimetre. You might not have to do that. Why might you not have to do that? Well, if you think back to where we've said for you to do your graphs, like lots and lots of you did last week, using your maths books much clearer because you've already got the lines on there. Right, so I'm going to go up in tens. Now, with my graph today, I'm just going to show you how to set up the graph. I will plot some of the data, but not all of the data. Right, okay. So, across is what we are keeping the same. So, we will be putting... Will it be people or will it be minutes? Have a think. Well, let's... minute. Okay, so across the x-axis, what we are keeping the same, our controlled variable. Right, now, like we've said before, we must keep these intervals consistent. I have decided for every minute in which we were doing our investigation, every minute I've done 2 centimetres. If I was to do it 1 centimetre every time, I think it would just keep our data really close together. We want our graph to be nice and clear. So I've given 2 centimetres for each minute. Right, so I'm going to mark that on. Notice as well, I've put 0. We must always put 0 right at the start of our axis. Right, okay. So, we're going to label this. We're going to label this. Now, as you know, we must always have a title. Can anyone remember, what did I recommend you starting your title with last week? Well, I would always recommend starting with a graph to show. Okay, so I would always recommend starting with your title for your graph, a graph to show. Okay, and I'm just going to underline that last one. I've put my title as a graph to show how burpees affect teachers' heartbeats per minute. Okay, now we need all of our work to be precise. Now I would say that this is a precise title. I've seen it before where people could put perhaps a graph to show beats per minute, okay, or a graph to show heart rate. Well, is that being precise? I feel by saying how burpees affect teachers' heart beats per minute, that is being precise, because we're saying what exercise we're doing, we're saying who it's doing the affecting to, and exactly what are we interested or investigating. It's heartbeats per minute. Right, I've got my data in front of me. I am going to start with Mrs. D. So I'm going to start with how many beats per minute for Mrs. D on minute 1. It was 75. Now, obviously, you're going to have to estimate where is, and I would recommend using your ruler, where is 75 on your graph. And I'll put a tiny little mark. Now, I wonder if you can work out what type of graph we are doing this time. So, Miss D, after 2 minutes. Now, what I'm going to do, because I'm sure you're thinking, hang on a second, this could get confusing. Now, I know that Miss D's favourite colour is red. Okay, now down here, or in fact up here, okay, so I'm going to be plotting Miss D's data using the red cross. Now I'm not going to continue doing Miss D's, I want you to do that. I'm going to now start plotting Mr. Smith's. So after 1 minute, where was Mr. Smith? Now his heart rate was slightly higher. Now again, it will still be on 1 minute, and my data shows that Mr. Smith's heartbeats per minute, he was on 80, so it's slightly higher. It will be on the same 1 minute. There we are. Okay, and then I'm going to mark it onto my key. Okay, after 2 minutes, where was Mr. Smith's? It was slightly higher than Miss D. It was 95. So, once again, you need to estimate where exactly will it be on the intervals on the y-axis. I estimate it will just be there. Okay, right. Okay, now as you can see, I've done their data for the first minute, the second minute. I'm not going to be doing it for the third minute. I want you to do that. Right, okay, I'm going to start with Miss Yorton's. Now, Miss Yorton's favourite colour is green. She's always talking about that. So, after 1 minute, now Miss Yorton's heart rate was very, very, very low. Notice about how I'm using my ruler. Again, you have the luxury of using the lines in your book. I don't have those. Now, Miss Yorton's was on 60 beats per minute, so I'm going to mark that on. Now, you probably have noticed that I haven't marked it onto the key yet, so I'm going to do that. Right, okay, after the second minute, what happened to Miss Yorton's beats per minute? It went up slightly to 75, so on the 2 minutes, 75 in between. There we are. Right, okay, now we'll have a look at mine. Now, blue is my favourite colour. You might notice I've got a lot of blue shirts and a lot of blue ties, so my heart rate beats per minute was also 75, so exactly the same as Miss D's, and that's fine. That's fine, we can put that on top of each other. There we are. Okay, and I'd repeat that for the second minute and the third minute. I'm not showing you on my video about plotting every minute. You need to do that. You need to do that yourself. Right, and I'm going to show you Mr. Powell's. Mr. Powell is always going on about yellow. He loves those Welsh daffodils. He loves the yellow flowers, and he was on 80. He was on 80, so the same as Mr. Smith. Oh. Right, okay, now I'm going to leave mine there for the moment. Yours will be completed that you show the data for all of the minutes on the results. Okay, I'm not going to do that now, otherwise I'm doing it all for you. We want you to do it yourself. If you're not sure, have a look back at previous slides. We've put the link for last week's. Okay, we've put the link for last week, although this graph is slightly different. As you can see, we haven't been drawing the lines for this. We are getting a lot of data on one graph. Now, you might have noticed that I haven't labelled all of the axes yet. Right, now, if we think about the variables. Now, let's have a look. What do these figures represent? You're quite right. If you are thinking to yourself, beats per minute. Right, now that's what we're measuring. We're measuring the beats per minute. So what variable is it? And I'm going to put another line there, another line there. Now I'm going to leave that one empty. I want you to complete this one. What variable is it? Now, what are these representing down here? I'm writing time in minutes. Now I'm going to write variables there. Okay, and I'm leaving a gap. I want you to add that. What type of variable are these? Now, we'll give you a little clue. The only thing that's changed in this whole investigation are these people. So what? I'm going to continue it over here. We are being precise. We are being scientific. I'm going to write variable there. But I'm leaving that one for you to do. So, this is a start for you. Okay? But we would like you to add all of the data to this graph. Well done Year 6 on everything that you submitted recently. The science work has been absolutely fantastic. Speak to your teacher if you have any problems whatsoever.